Good morning and welcome to the Brunel Business School webinar. Today we will be presenting the Brunel MBA program, and I welcome here Professor Francesco Moscone, who is the MBA Program Director, and my name is Joanna Oman and I'm the Marketing and Admissions Manager for the Business School. Between the two of us we will cover the features and some of the aspects of our MBA program. Welcome, Francesco.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We will give chance to our audience to ask us questions as we go along, so please feel free to post your questions to us. We'll read them out and ensure that you get your answers. So, Francesco, let's start with just a little understanding of your role as the MBA Director.
My role as an MBA Director is essentially to make sure that we meet at Brunel Business School the expectations of our students in terms of maximizing their opportunities, their future opportunities, and more in detail the likelihood of getting the job they're looking for. Because don't forget, Joanna, that most of our MBA students, actually all our MBA students I would say, have lots of working experience, minimum of 3 years working experience. So they're already in the industry and they want to progress. They want to progress because their aim is perhaps to become an entrepreneur or a CEO.
Mm-hmm. So as an MBA Director, you would work with the students and the academic team to ensure that students get to meet their aspirations.
Absolutely, Joanna. What we do is, in order to achieve this, to maximize this, their aspirations, we work hard in order to ensure that the quality of our program meets high standards. And the standards that are not just set by our business school, but also by accredited bodies such as AMBA. Okay. And therefore, we interact a lot with, I interact personally a lot with the members of staff here at Brunel Business School to make sure that they can deliver ultimately a high quality, put it this way, if I may say so, service. Well, actually it's more than a service because we're talking about education. But also we interact a lot with our students in order to make sure that there is an optimal interaction between tutors and students when learning and when progressing in terms of specializations or in terms of increasing their skills.
Mm-hmm. And when we talk about quality, you mentioned the word AMBA, which is Association of MBAs. It's an accrediting body in the UK and internationally that looks at schools and universities who provide MBA programs. Now, why is that accreditation important to a prospective student, and can they use it as a benchmark for quality?
That's a good question, Joanna. Usually it would be not very difficult for an academic, put it this way, to convince the audience that his or her program is of high quality. You can speculate and find nice words and say we are the best because we do the best research and this and that. But if a third party guarantees the quality of your program, then that's an insurance for anyone who wants to buy, if you want, this product, to buy a high quality product. In other words, it's always interesting, and I think that's what people should do when buying any products, not just to trust what the firm is saying in terms of the quality of the product, but also to trust certain bodies that will regulate the market and will set the standards. So that's why we believe that being one of the few business schools that will have AMBA, we're also among the highest quality programs in MBAs in Europe and perhaps I would say in the world.
Mm-hmm. And we have full AMBA accreditation. We've passed that successfully, and in fact we were recommended or commended by AMBA for a number of reasons for our MBA program, haven't we?
Oh, indeed. I think what AMBA likes about our MBA program is that it is a very international MBA program. I mean, getting back to your original question about the quality of the program, well, we make sure that the quality of the program also reflects what's going on in the world in terms of globalization and these rapid changes in the economy. So we're all the time looking as tutors to revise our programs and trying to meet the expectations of the employers. Because at the end of the day, what we really want is to keep up with these dynamics and these changes in order to make sure that our MBA students will get back to the job market and they will be ready for these challenging changes.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of changes, we have recently, as we normally do, revised the MBA program to ensure that it meets the latest requirements of the industry and so on. And could you tell us a little bit about those changes that we have taken forward for the next academic year?
Joanna, I would say that there have been changes, but because AMBA liked very much our program, we haven't changed radically our MBA program. But there have been, you're right, some changes, interesting changes. Like, for example, in our program, we did not have a specific module in economics. Now, economics was, in some sense, in many of our modules, the modules that we ran, but there was not a distinctive module talking about micro and macroeconomics and managerial economics. And we wanted to introduce this new module in order to train our students also from another point of view, not just the business point of view, also the economics point of view. Because entrepreneurs, managers, CEOs have to deal with micro and macroeconomic issues. Like, for example, the last unexpected event that we had in the middle of 2007, the financial crisis that started in the US and would have had a huge impact in the economy of many Western and not just Western countries. Well, an entrepreneur, a firm general manager, has to be aware what these financial consequences are, what's the meaning of, what's the impact of changing the interest rate, what's inflation really is about in terms of affecting the balance of your accounts. That's why we introduced this new distinguished module, which is called Module in Economics. Mm-hmm. This is just an example to tell you that we haven't radically, as I said, changed our MBA program, but we decided to teach economics as a module for our MBA program.
And if we just captured the structure of the MBA program, and correct me if I'm wrong here, we have 8 modules that students need to take. Some of them are core fundamental areas of the business that students will cover as part of their studies. And then there will be some electives, and these electives are chosen based on the type of specialization that the student goes for. And I think we want to say here to the listeners that Brunel MBA offers some very unique specializations. So it's not just general MBA, which is a very solid program, generally offered in universities, but we focus on aviation and in healthcare management. So there's electives in that area as well. And what else is added to these modules? What other learning experiences or activities do students take part in?
You're correct, Joanna, in saying that we offer a general MBA program, and there we offer also this opportunity, which is the opportunity of specializing in healthcare management or in aviation management. Now, the market, and I'm talking about not just the European market, also other markets like the US and some other countries, usually we offer robust MBA programs like we do. But it's not that easy to find a high-quality program with a specialization in healthcare management or a specialization in aviation management. And that's what we're good in. We're good in basically offering a program where a student will have core modules, the same modules that you will get in order to get a general MBA, but then you can specialize and you can say, I would like to specialize in healthcare management, And for this reason, you will have to take modules such as healthcare policy and managing service operations in changing healthcare. And then you will have to write a project, pilot project in healthcare management. So this will give you the opportunity not just to become a leader, as I said earlier on, the CEO, I think about being or an entrepreneur, not necessarily an entrepreneur of a big corporation, also of an SME, but it will give you also the opportunity to be an entrepreneur in specific industries, such as the healthcare industry and the aviation industry. In thinking about the healthcare industry, about the opportunities to become an entrepreneur in terms of running a hospital and in terms of providing healthcare services as an integration or substitution of a public healthcare service. But apart from giving the opportunity of specializing in these different industries, we believe a lot in training our MBA students, not just from a theoretical point of view, but also practical point of view. So the learning experience, the positive learning experience of our MBA students is to engage in our program, our general MBA or specialization in healthcare management or aviation management, not just through traditional teaching, but also through, if I may say so, more kind of modern advanced teaching, which means a lot of interaction between tutors and MBA students, a lot of workshops, and we have also, and this is what distinguishes Brunel Business School to many other business schools. We also offer master classes, leadership master classes, to really let in a practical way our students become the future leaders. And that's why we teach how to negotiate, how the negotiation process takes place, and how to negotiate all these game theories between economic agents, how to reach the equilibrium, not just from a theoretical point of view, but also practical point of view. Because, think about our MBA students, one day they get back to their industry, they're CEOs, they will have to meet some, say that their company is American, they will have to meet and do some negotiation with some Japanese suppliers. Over there, communication will be important. The way you say things will be important. Understanding, not just from a theoretical point of view, how to reach the equilibrium in terms of price and quantity, demand and supply, is also very important. So in these leadership master classes, we make sure that our MBA students will learn how to become leaders. And that's the difference between, allow me to say so, between being just a manager or a CEO. A manager will not be a leader. A CEO will be someone who has been a manager, but will prove leadership, will look at things in a holistic way, will have an understanding of where to go in the short, medium, and long term. And that's what we do in our leadership masterclasses. We train our MBA students to become leaders.
And on top of that, of course, we have the whole career development program, which I find very attractive. And as part of that, the career coaching, so sessions with what I like to call the career doctor, one-on-one surgery, where the person in charge of that is responsible for looking at our students' skills and strengths and weaknesses and show them really how to present themselves to the expectation of international recruiters. I mean, I know we talked about this early on today, in fact, how in the program we can ensure that the students coming from various backgrounds can present in a unified way their career experience until now and themselves, and really discover how to present their strengths and expertise so that they are successful later on when they are, so to speak, released onto the job market once they've done with us. So I think that's quite important as well. So we've got the core module, we've got the electives, we've got the leadership masterclasses, career development program, career coaching. It's a very good package and very good value for money, I would say, for an MBA program. I mean, we've both looked at some analysis of what else is offered on the MBA market, and I always feel that this program packs a punch for a very good price, and I think that's quite important to students coming to us. And can we talk a little bit about the kind of backgrounds that students come from in terms of either nationality or industry? That would be a good question to ask. Could you comment on that, please?
Sure, Joanna. Our students, the background of our students, I would say, is very heterogeneous. The reason why I'm saying this is because if you look at the profile of our current cohort, you will see that there are few people coming from the healthcare industry, some other people coming from aviation industry, some others coming from completely different industries. So they're coming from completely different industries, and sometimes they have a completely different expertise.
So we have IT sector, we have manufacturing sector, we have finance sector.
Exactly. We also have doctors that come from the healthcare industry, and they're clinicians actually back home, but they want to get the essential management skills that will enable them to become also managers in their hospital. So we have cases of a few doctors who really want to use their clinical background and combine it, and that's what we offer in our MBA program, with a strong managerial kind of background in order to be able, in the future, to be able to run institutions such as healthcare authorities or hospitals.
We've got a question that's just come in from Arpit. He's asked how intense is the full-time one-year MBA program, and how many hours per week does a person need to devote to the program? Now, I remember we had a little article about it recently, where we discussed that students have to actually make a full commitment to this program whilst they're here. And you'll confirm this, I'm sure, that somebody who is intending to come for a year to do this program and is going to pay this amount of money for that program should not waste time on taking up small part-time jobs here and there to earn a few pounds, because they're losing the investment that they've initially made. And they probably would not have the time. We want them to commit to this program fully. Classes are running between Monday and Thursday, and sometimes the leadership masterclasses that you mentioned will be on Friday and Saturday.
Yes.
So it really is a full-time program, isn't it? A full-time commitment.
It's a full-time, that's correct, Joanne. It's a full-time program. You have to be committed. It's not just about learning from books and from tutors. It's also about being entrepreneurs, if you want, entrepreneurial in the sense of writing projects, engaging in discussions between your MBA, other MBA students. Because remember that it's not just about learning from the tutors, it's about learning from tutors, traditional way of learning, but also a more advanced way of learning, which means engaging with potential employers, doing important visits and within the country, sometimes also abroad. It's very intensive, as you said, because if you listen to some of our current MBA students, they tell me, well, Francesco, you have to keep up sometime. There's a lot of work. And I said to them, I told you from day one, it's a tough course. It's not just a master. In a master, you will just learn, say, from the books, from what the tutors say to you, from articles and so forth. Here is about learning theory and practice. That's why it's challenging. I see people coming to some of our colleagues, some of my colleagues, to ask for some advices because they're running their firm. So you can get opportunities in this sense. You can get the opportunity of engaging with some of the most brilliant scholars we have in marketing and some other areas of the school, and get advantage in order to get some feedback and also produce some good, say, spillovers, positive spillovers in your firm. But I would like to say also that It is very hard work because, as you said, sometimes we need to stay here also on Saturday, and sometimes, you will see that we have a great campus. You will see people going to pubs or restaurants and so forth, and you have to go there and reflect how to solve this business problem that the tutor said last week. So it's about studying, it's about reflecting, it's about being entrepreneurial, it's about getting all these skills, and sometimes they wonder, do we have enough time? There's a lot of pressure, I have to say, a lot of pressure.
But that pressure is there in the business world.
Oh yes, that's exactly. I all the time say to my students, if you want to go with an MBA back to the financial market and work in the city, you will see more pressure there than in the MBA. So in the MBA, we kind of prepare to handle more kind of pressure, more stress, which does not mean that has to have a bad effect on your productivity, because here we will teach you how to handle this and how to use all your energy and knowledge in order to increase the productivity, not just your productivity, also the productivity of your colleagues back in the industry when you get back to the industry. Yes.
And in fact, when I was coming into work this morning, I saw MBA students outside of the building getting into a coach and going for a visit to the British Airways headquarters. So it's some of these learning activities, that's a very different learning, isn't it?
Absolutely. So if you think that so when I was referring to having a very intensive program, I also meant that having my mind, and thank you for telling us, John, situations where our MBA students are going to visit the British Airways and learn from the top management of the British Airways. It's, I call it stressful in the sense that you all the time have to be very active in interacting with people, in networking, because the MBA is also about networking. And therefore, even if you're not studying, you will be in LinkedIn, or you will be on Facebook, or other important technologies in order to communicate, in order to, if I may say so, sell. Perhaps this is not the right word, but sell your ability, put it this way.
And the visits like today,
yes.
The British Airways headquarter visits, they are quite regular on that program. Students have gone to Silverstone, where Formula One cars have been produced, to look at their operations. They've had visits to other companies. They've had visits from companies who come to the classroom and teach them. So there's a lot of applied element to their learning.
A lot of applied element. That's what we like about our program at Brunel, is to always try to find the optimal balance between theory and practice. And you're right, we have guest speakers, prestigious guest speakers from politicians to practitioners that come here and deliver and engage with our students. But we also have students going to visit and learn and engage through interaction with top management of companies such as Merrill Lynch, McDonald's in India, and so forth.
And we have more questions coming in, and please do keep them coming, because we will be closing this webinar in the next 8 minutes. So we're looking forward to more of your questions. Another question that we had come in was about, is Brunel planning to have more international accreditations like the AAC, SCB and Equius?
Oh, indeed, the good news that it's not that we are planning, we are in the process of getting further accreditations, such as the ones that the potential MBA student has mentioned. I cannot really comment on this because I'm not allowed, because we are in the process to get the outcome in the near future of one of these second important accreditation. But I'm happy to tell you that we are working hard to get the at least other 2 accreditations and become one of the few triple accredited MBA programs, hopefully in the near future.
And let's kind of start to wrap up the webinar by, I think, naturally moving into the area of alumni. Alumni is quite important, and I have reported from a number of alumni events that happen both domestically and internationally. So we do foster that networking opportunity between current and students who've already gone. Can you give us a bit of your experience from one of the alumni events?
Well, not a long time ago, I was in India, in Mumbai, where we have a huge, I would say, network, not just among alumni, but also firms and employers in general. So I was there, and with a colleague of mine, Professor Ashley Braganza, we had the opportunity to meet a dozen of our former MBA students, and that was just amazing because we had in that table, it was a round table, quite a few of our MBA students and alumni and two guest speakers, one from Merrill Lynch, all discussing about where India is going, the future economic growth, whether Europe is going to get out from this deep recession, what are going to be the tools that the policymakers and entrepreneurs will use to continue growing and to catch up with the so-called BRICS. So that event was just amazing because I was in a round table learning from the new generation of inspired CEOs and the former leaders in the financial market with our current MBA students, all having different sometimes opinions but interesting discussion. And of course, at the end, networking had also great results because a couple of current MBA students were invited to have an informal talk with the top management of one of the firms, and I'm still hearing, from them. There is a kind of process. You never know. Maybe they got their opportunity, and that night that will translate in a very high quality job. The job that we were talking at the beginning of.
Mm-hmm. So that having that opportunity of networking, and here you mentioned the international tour that we took some of our students to India for. Having that opportunity of networking with companies is very important, and students get that opportunity whilst they are here as well, as you mentioned, because of the applied learning. But one of the kind of really interesting examples of that is the collaboration between existing students and companies on a business project, which is the final project that students have to do as part of their MBA learning. And the example that I like to mention now is when 2 or 3 of our students have been doing research with Ida, one of our lecturers with British Airways, have been given an office in British Airways headquarters and worked with the board of directors on new strategies for changing the way that they train their staff across the world, which I think is just a fantastic opportunity. And that kind of learning through a business project must be very valuable to students who are then looking for a foot in the door to the job market.
Absolutely, yes, Joanna, you're completely right. We use very often this idea of the project to let the demand and supply meet, and sometimes they would meet just for a short time. Some other times in the long run, it is possible that they could meet for a longer relationship. But it's a learning process that is very effective. And let me tell you that these visits also to these firms are not just normal standard visits, because we have strong relationships with certain entrepreneurs, like, for example, McDonald's in India. So it's not a manager that comes and tells us from the marketing team what's going on with the McDonald's in India, what are the strategies. We actually get all the information from the top guys that run McDonald's in India, and we can ask questions, we can engage in this fabulous, I would say, learning process, which is through interaction. It is finished, I think, the time where students are just listening to a god or some gods that just speak and they seem to own the truth. No, it's time for students to engage and learn from tutors, and tutors learn from students, because remember that our students, and I want to make this point again, have strong experience from the corporate world, from the industry in general.
Let's give just keep this for another 5 minutes, because we haven't really touched on the application procedure. Students who are looking to come in, they need to complete a standard application process, but as part of that application process where they submit their CV, their work references, the documents that they have about their work experience and education, if English language is required, then we look for that test as well. There is an opportunity for them during the application process to speak to you as well, isn't there?
Absolutely. I welcome any student to contact me through email and set a meeting if you are in London or in England in general, and come to see me. I'll show you around. We can have a nice informal chat about your aspirations, your expectations. I can take you through our MBA program more in detail. I would be just honored, delighted to meet potential candidates in London. Having said that, for those who are not in this country, because we've got lots of applications, Joanna, from different parts of the world, from the US to India, then I'll be happy to have a chat through telephone or other means of communication, such as
the webinar today.
Exactly, yes.
So this is why we do that.
Yeah.
But there's other ways that students can find out a bit more information about the program at the point of decision making. We have a very good MBA website where there are some statistics about our students and our graduates, so you can find information about their average age or work experience and so on our website. There is also opportunity for students to contact an existing MBA ambassador. We have his details, Mario, the student's name is Mario, Mario's details on our school website, so you can definitely approach him, connect with him on LinkedIn or Facebook, or contact him by email, so you get a first-hand experience. Speaking to yourself and to me today in the webinars is one of them. So there's a lot of points where students can come and approach us. I would say we're very approachable in the admission process, and we ensure that student application is processed quickly. We provide the best service that we can, because we really value the applicants who come for that. And they're very sophisticated customers, if I may say so.
Yes.
So we want to ensure that they get the best service that we possibly can. You can also see on the screen now, those of you who are following the webinar, that you can connect with us on social media. We have a LinkedIn account, Facebook account, and Twitter account, and there's a lot of information there that is available to you as well. We'll wrap this up now. Thank you very much, Francesco, for today's talk.
Thank you, Joanna, for giving me the opportunity to interact with our potential MBA students.
I think we definitely will try to do this one more time going forward. So please tune in to the next webinar where we'll try to answer some additional questions. And thank you everyone for attending. You can register for additional webinars on our website in the future, but you can also contact Francesco directly. You can see his email given on the slide and his telephone number. I'm sure he'll be happy to discuss this with you. Once again, thank you very much and goodbye.